Welcome to the Travis Elementary School Crisis Management and Safety Training for the month of August. Under the direction of Israel Taylor, Principal, Demetra Kroll, Assistant Principal, and Adrian Lott, Counselor. During this training, we will cover active shooters, unarmed intruders, drive-by shootings, sexual assault, how to conduct a lockdown drill, and classroom safety. Our first topic we will be covering is active shooters. As a teacher, if gunmen are in the same room and shots have been fired, or if life is in imminent danger, tell the class to get down and take cover. Dial 911 if possible. As a last resort, and only when your life is in imminent danger, attempt to disrupt and/or incapacitate the gunman. Act as aggressively as possible against the gunman. Throw items and improvise weapons. Yell and commit to your actions. If you're unable to be aggressive to the gunman, try to reason with the gunman to let the class evacuate. Do what you're asked to do and stay calm. Await police rescue. If gunmen are in the area and no shots have been fired, notify the principal's office as soon as possible and advise whether a weapon is suspected or visible. Try to calm the students under your care. Do not approach the gunman or attempt to confiscate the weapons. If a weapon is visible or the gunmen are threatening, ask in a calm voice for permission to evacuate the rest of the class. Evacuate quietly if allowed. If evacuation is not allowed, keep talking with the gunman until the police arrive. If gunmen are not in the area and a lockdown is ordered, quickly survey the hallway by your classroom and order any students in hall or restroom into your room. Lock your door and move the students to a corner of the room out of the sight of the entry door. Have the class sit on the floor and keep quiet. If students are outside and teacher receives lockdown message by messenger, escort students to evacuation site. Do not re-enter the building. Open door only to a police officer and follow officer's instructions. If told to evacuate, take your roll book. You may also open the door if the principal announces an all clear. Our next topic is armed gunmen with hostages. The principal's office will do the following steps. Step 1, call 911 for police and call security. Step 2, order an immediate school lockdown. Step 3, notify the superintendent's office, who will then contact others as needed. Step 4, isolate the danger area with locked doors and no hall traffic. Step 5, evacuate any students who have been locked out of their classroom or who are in public areas to a safe area. Step 6, send messenger to playground, advise teacher to take students to evacuation area. Step 7, when police arrive, escort them to scene, but school administrators should stay out of view of gunmen. Rescue of the hostages will be the responsibility of law enforcement. Step 8, work with police officers as directed. Police will evacuate students area by area. Step 9, work to maintain as much calm as possible. After the incident, Step 10, after gunmen are contained, account for all students and record extent of injuries. Step 11, follow up at hospital. Step 12, refer media questions to media relations. Step 13, advise the media of any school closings. Step 14, announce counseling services and document the students and staff receiving counseling. Step 15, visit with the parents or the victims. Step 16, facilitate investigations by civil authorities. Step 17, keep staff informed. Step 18, keep parents informed. Armed gunmen with no hostages. The principal's office will do the following steps. Step 1, call 911 for police and call security. Step 2, announce a lockdown on PA system, which means all teachers will lock doors. Have administrative staff evacuate any students who have been locked out of a classroom and who are in public areas to a safe area. Step 3, notify the superintendent's office, who will then contact others as needed. Step 4, when police arrive, advise them of the situation. Step 5, escort police to scene and work with them as directed. Step 6, stay out of view of armed gunmen. Step 7, under advisement of police officers, consider the following options. A, continue the lockdown. B, evacuate the building by PA announcement. Do not use the fire alarm system. C, advise teachers of areas to avoid during evacuation. Step 8, maintain calm. And step 9, refer media calls to media relations. Our next topic is suspected weapon. The principal's office will call 911 and call security. Step 2, have police officers bring the student back to the office with backpack, purse, books, and other possessions. Step 3, ensure that at least 2 adults and a police officer are present at the meeting. Step 4, tell the student what is suspected and ask the student where the weapon is hidden. Step 5, if the student denies or refuses, have a police officer conduct a pat-down of the student. The police officer, principal, or assistant principal should search the backpack. Step 6, if search yields nothing, 2 adults, the police officer, and the student will go to the student's locker for a search. Step 7, if a weapon is found, police officer will remove student from campus. Step 8, call the superintendent. Step 9, notify a parent. And step 10, follow disciplinary action according to your own code of student conduct. In the event of unarmed intruders, the teacher will report any suspicious person to the principal's office immediately and never assume that an intruder does not have a weapon. The principal's office will, step 1, approach the intruders and determine the nature of their presence. Step 2, ask for identification. Step 3, direct and/or accompany them to the proper office. Step 4, if they have no acceptable purpose, ask them to leave. Step 5, if they refuse to leave, remind them that they are in violation of the law and alert them that the police will be called. Step 6, if they still refuse to leave, call security or 911 for police. Step 7, if the situation is very severe, announce a lockdown on PA system, which means all teachers will lock doors. If lockdown is announced, have administrative staff evacuate any students who have been locked out of their rooms or in public areas to a safe area inside or outside the building. Step 9, notify the superintendent's office, who will then contact others as needed. And step 10, file an incident report. Our next topic is drive-by shootings. As the teacher, step 1, when shots are heard, yell to the students, drop to the ground or drop to the floor. Step 2, as the car exits area, yell to the students, run into the building quietly. Be alert for the car returning to the area and be prepared to yell again, drop to the ground or drop to the floor. Step 3, notify principal's office as soon as possible and report any known injuries. Step 4, organize the students within the building and try to restore calm. Step 5, return students to the classroom when advised. Take roll call and report any missing students to the principal's office immediately. Arrange for a classroom monitor, and return to principal's office and be prepared to answer questions from security or police. The principal's office will, step 1, call 911 for police and ambulance if necessary. Step 2, notify the superintendent's office, who will then contact others as needed. Step 3, bring all students and staff indoors as soon as possible. Step 4, secure buildings by locking doors and windows. Step 5, consider making an announcement for teachers in exterior classrooms to order students to drop to the floor. Step 6, have teachers remain with their classes to continue the educational process insofar as possible. Hold students beyond dismissal time when necessary. Staff should remain with the students until the emergency is over. Advise the media relations director if school dismissal will be delayed. And step 8, provide counseling to any students as needed. Our next topic is sexual assault. As the teacher, you will first alert principal's office immediately. Step 2, when authorities arrive, follow directions from police, CPS, child victims advocate, and the principal's office. And step 3, complete incident report as soon as possible. The principal's office will call 911 for police and ambulance if evidence shows that a crime was committed. Step 2, notify the superintendent's office, who will then contact others as needed. Step 3, notify the health office to pull emergency health information and to administer first aid. Step 4, call counselor to stay with the victim. Step 5, isolate suspect if possible. Step 6, isolate witnesses and do not allow them to talk to anyone or to each other. Step 7, notify a parent. If 911 was called, inform staff and provide counseling services, and facilitate any investigations by district and civil authorities. In the event of a lockdown, the principal's office will, step 1, use the PA system to announce a lockdown. Make a straightforward announcement. We have an intruder outside or inside the building. Go into external or total lockdown. Step 2, call 911 for police and call security. When they arrive, ensure that they have a map of the building. Step 3, if there is an external threat, ensure that all exterior doors are locked. Account for all students, staff, and visitors. If there is an internal threat, direct the custodians to lock whichever doors would best isolate the intruder if they may do so safely. Advise the office personnel to stay away from the front door and windows. Isolate the danger area with locked doors and no hall traffic. Evacuate any students who have been locked out of their classroom or who are in public areas to a safe area. Send messenger to playground. Advise teacher to take students to evacuation area. When police arrive, escort them to scene, but school administrators should stay out of view of the intruders. Rescue of any hostages will be the responsibility of law enforcement. Work with police officers as directed. Police will evacuate students area by area. Work to maintain as much calm as possible. After the incident, after intruders are contained, account for all students and record extent of injuries. Follow up at hospital. Refer media questions to media relations. Advise the media of any school closings. Announce counseling services and document the students and staff receiving counseling. Visit with the parent or the victims. Facilitate investigations by civil authorities. Keep staff informed and keep parents informed. External lockdowns are called for when the threat of violence or gunfire is identified outside the building and an evacuation would be dangerous. Total lockdowns are called for when there is a threat inside and movement within the school could be dangerous. The difference between shelter in place and lockdown is that the former involves shutdown of the HVAC systems and allows for the free movement of students within the building. Exterior threat or exterior lockdown. The education process continues. The teacher will move all persons indoors. If possible, move from portable buildings into the main building. Account for all students, staff, and visitors. Continue the education process in the main building. Exterior doors remain locked until the all clear is issued from first responders. Monitor the PA system for an all clear by the principal. If there is an interior threat or total lockdown, you will stop the education process. As the teacher, step 1, quickly survey the hallway by your classroom and order any students in hall or restroom into your room. Step 2, lock your door and move the students to a corner of the room out of sight of the entry door. Close your window blinds if it's safe to do so. Place a card with classroom number and status on exterior window if possible. Step 3, turn off the lights. Step 4, have the class sit on the floor and keep quiet. Step 5, open door only to a police officer or principal. If told to evacuate, take your roll book. Step 6, classroom doors remain locked until the all clear is issued from first responders. Step 7, monitor PA system for the all clear announcement by the principal. Classroom safety. Watch for trip and fall hazards. Classroom safety checklist. Keeping the classroom safe is as easy as doing a little general housekeeping. A few examples of these are closing file drawers as soon as you walk away. Make sure the top filing drawers are not overloaded, making the cabinet top-heavy. Make sure electrical outlets are not overloaded. Clean up any messes immediately. Follow the 8 steps to a safe lift. Keep floors and aisles clear. Report damaged flooring and make signs to alert others. Minimize extension cord use and pick them up immediately after use. Turn in damaged electrical equipment. If you see a sharp that needs covering, don't ignore it. Do not block fire exits or alarms. Use a ladder or stool to reach high places and put them away when done. Do not burn candles or use plug-in air fresheners. If you see a potential hazard, pick or clean it up immediately. Don't use any chemicals that you don't have MSDS, Material Safety Data Sheets, for. Don't bring in your own chemicals from home. Use cleaning materials provided by housekeeping. Read labels and follow directions for all chemical products. If cleaning, use the proper PPE, personal protective equipment. Payroll stuffers. To avoid classroom hazards, keep file drawers closed, avoid overloading outlets, clean up messes immediately, avoid overloading top filing drawers, practice safe lifting techniques, keep floors and aisles clear, use equipment or get help when lifting heavy items, report damaged flooring, minimize extension cord use, turn in damaged electrical equipment, cover sharps when not in use, do not block fire exits or alarms, use a ladder or stool to reach high places, keep all chair legs on the floor, carry only loads you can see over them. Don't burn candles. Don't bring in outside cleaning materials. This safety session should teach employees to recognize and avoid potential classroom safety hazards. Number 1, classrooms contain many potential hazards that can cause injuries. The most common include slips, trips, and falls, falling objects, electrical shock or fire, punctures from sharp tools and material, back injuries from lifting. Number 2, practice good housekeeping to prevent slips, trips, and falls. Remove or avoid unsafe conditions such as boxes, supplies, briefcases, or other items on floors or in aisles, spills from coffee, water, rain, etc., cords from computers, televisions, overhead projectors, and other equipment, open drawers, and torn or loose flooring materials. Number 3, avoid careless and unsafe acts that could cause slips, trips, and falls. Wear appropriate shoes. Don't carry loads you can't see over. When you sit, be sure all chair legs are on the floor. Don't tilt back or stretch beyond arm's length. Reach high places by standing on a ladder or step stool, not a desk, chair, or box. Number 4, organize work areas to prevent injuries from falling objects. Avoid file cabinet tip over by placing the heaviest materials in bottom drawers. Place computers, calculators, and other desktop equipment on rubber mats to avoid equipment creep. Don't place unsecured objects such as books on high shelves. Number 5, practice electrical safety and avoid potential hazards to prevent fires and shock. Don't overload outlets. Minimize use of extension cords. Match plugs to outlets. For example, 3-pronged to 3-pronged. Report and don't use electrical equipment with frayed or damaged cords or wires. Don't use candles or plug-in air fresheners. Number 6, take precautions with sharp objects to prevent puncture injuries. Cover sharps like scissors and razor blades when not in use. Don't walk while carrying an uncovered sharp. Don't point sharps at another person. Be careful how you handle and store staples, push pins, and thumbtacks. Number 7, minimize lifting to avoid back injuries. Get dollies and/or trained personnel to move equipment, furniture, or supplies. Lift only what you can manage easily. Don't overestimate your strength. Lift correctly so your legs do the work and not your back. Squat next to loads with knees bent. Push up slowly with back straight, bringing the load close to your body. Walk with small steps, making sure you can see where you're going. Be prepared to act quickly in an emergency. Know where to find and how to use fire alarms and extinguishers. Make sure nothing blocks fire exits. Leave immediately via your assigned evacuation route when an alarm sounds. Know where to find and how to use Material Safety Data Sheets, MSDS, for chemicals. Discussion point. Ask participants to look around your classroom area and identify potential hazards and explain how they would eliminate them. Conclusion. Injuries occur in offices because of unsafe conditions and acts. Classroom safety requires staying alert for potential hazards and avoiding careless acts that can cause accidents. Test your knowledge. Have your employees take this classroom safety quiz. By testing their knowledge, you can judge their ability to choose and use protective equipment and whether they need to review this important topic again soon. Classroom safety quiz. Number 1, leaving materials or cords in walkways is one cause of slips, trips, and falls in a classroom? A, true, B, false. The answer is A, true. Number 2, if liquid accumulates on the floor from a spill or rain, you should A, let it evaporate, B, clean it up immediately, C, forget about it. The answer is B, clean it up immediately. Number 3, wearing inappropriate foot attire is A, a recommended way to get exercise, B, a way to prove you're energetic, C, a cause of injuries from slips, trips, and falls. The answer is C, a cause of injuries from slips, trips, and falls. Number 4, to get materials from a high shelf, you should stand on A, a ladder or stool, B, a desk, or C, a chair. The answer is A, a ladder or stool. Number 5, to prevent file cabinets from tipping over, you should A, let someone else handle filing, B, place heavy materials in the bottom drawers, or C, place heavy materials on the top of the cabinet. The answer is B, place heavy materials in the bottom drawers. Number 6, a good way to avoid electrical fires and shock in a classroom is to A, use a lot of extension cords, B, avoid overloading outlets, and C, keep a fire extinguisher nearby. The answer is B, avoid overloading outlets. Number 7, if your electrical equipment has a frayed cord, you should A, plug it into an outlet by itself, B, tape it, C, not use the equipment and report the problem. The answer is C, not use the equipment and report the problem. If you need to move furniture in your classroom, you should A, get a dolly and or trained personnel, B, make the effort to lift it, C, push it with your foot. The answer is A, get a dolly and or trained personnel. Number 9, the correct way to lift is to bend your knees and keep your back straight so your legs and not your back do most of the work. A, true, B, false. The answer is A, true. Number 10, when you hear a fire alarm, you should A, assume it's a drill you can ignore, B, immediately leave by your assigned evacuation route, or C, panic. The answer is B, immediately leave by your assigned evacuation route. These are the William B. Travis Elementary School fire drill procedures. Teacher and staff procedures. Number 1, using the building map and evacuation routes, evacuate the building when you hear the fire alarm or announcement from the office. Number 2, take your class roster and gradebook with you. Ensure that class rosters include emergency telephone numbers for each student. Number 3, turn off the light and close the classroom door as the students leave. Number 4, leave the building in a quiet, orderly manner without rushing or crowding. Number 5, if the situation warrants, a bus evacuation will be used to transport students to another site. Number 6, If the emergency calls for an evacuation that doesn't warrant bus transportation, walk from the building in the stated course. A. Always evacuate crosswind and/or upwind away from any emergency by a safe route. B. Students should be evacuated at least 300 feet from building and out of the way of emergency vehicles. Number 7. Reassemble students and take roll call to ensure all students are accounted for. Report any missing students to Mr. Taylor or Mrs. Kroll immediately. Number 8. Note on your roster any students who are released to their parents. And number 9. Return to your classroom when you are instructed that it is safe to do so. Typically, we will sound the bell. However, if the PA system is down, you will be informed by administrators and/or custodians. When possible, a remind text will be sent to staff with updates regarding any fire alarms that require staff to be on high alert. To sign up for Travis staff alerts, please text @Travis1115 to 81010. If you have any questions regarding this crisis management or safety training, please inform Mrs. Kroll, myself, or Mr. Taylor as soon as possible. Have a blessed day.